Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating duel of innovations from the Paraguayan War. It's a moment where superior, cutting-edge technology went head-to-head with sheer, raw human ingenuity right on the battlefield. By late 1867, the Paraguayan War had become this brutal, grinding stalemate. The Allied forces, that's Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, they were pushing hard, but the Paraguayans just refused to break. So something had to give. And that deadlock was about to be shattered, not by more brute force, but by some incredible cleverness. So in this explainer, we're going to explore this incredible clash of minds. We'll look at the key battlegrounds of innovation that really defined this stage of the war. Everything from communications and naval warfare to logistics and defense. Okay, let's really dive into this. The Allied forces are on the advance, right? They're consolidating their positions, and they're bringing in all the superior technology. But the Paraguayan president, Francisco Solano López, he just refuses to yield. He digs in, and he turns the whole conflict into this high-stakes strategic chess match. So first up is the communications battle. And this was, for all intents and purposes, a secret, invisible war of information. It was a duel that was waged over wires buried in the dirt and hidden deep in the wetlands. And right here, you can see this stark contrast in how they approach the problem. The Allies, they rolled out this cutting-edge Prussian military tech, an underground telegraph cable, insulated with something called gutta percha, and they even had a special plow to lay it. The Paraguayans, on the other hand, well, they relied on pure, simple cunning. And this is just brilliant. It perfectly illustrates López's strategy. Every single time the Allies found and cut the main telegraph line, López would immediately order it to be repaired. So the Allies thought, great, we're disrupting their command and control. But the whole time, his real communications network, a secret line he'd hidden in an impassable swamp, was operating completely undetected. He was playing them. Now, the conflict shifts from the land to the water, and this is where a seemingly unstoppable naval force meets an incredibly agile and, frankly, creative defense. This is the story of modern iron versus old-fashioned cannons and a whole lot of grit. 10. This was the number of powerful Brazilian ironclad warships. I mean, we're talking the absolute pinnacle of naval tech at the time that were sent to just punch their way past the formidable Paraguayan river defenses at a place called Curupayty. And on paper, it was just no contest. The Paraguayan cannons, they were mostly small caliber. Their cannonballs literally just bounced off the thick iron plating of the Brazilian ships. It looked absolutely hopeless for the defenders. So, what do you do? Well, here is the crucial point, this brilliant tactical response. See, the ironclads were powerful, but they were miserably slow. The Paraguayans realized this and turned the whole fight into a game of cat and mouse. After firing on the fleet from one spot, they would frantically haul their heaviest cannons overland to the next fortress downriver, just in time to salute the very same ships again as they slowly churned their way past. A war isn't just fought with guns. It's fought with food, ammunition, and supplies. And that reality led to two massive competing engineering projects in the hostile, waterlogged wilderness of the Chaco region. This table, it just shows the incredible difference in scale and ambition. The Allies built a short-range tramway, which was an impressive feat, don't get me wrong, to supply their fleet. But López, with his main supply lines threatened, he ordered the creation of an epic 54-mile lifeline right through one of the most inhospitable landscapes you can possibly imagine. This description just nails it. It perfectly captures the monumental challenge they were up against. The Paraguayans had to build a 54-mile road through a terrain filled with swamps, dense forests, and deep streams. They even had to set up posts all along its length just to keep it operational. It was an essential artery to keep their whole war effort alive. So then, the Allies introduce a new threat, powerful, long-range artillery that completely shifts the dynamic of the battlefield. And in response, López doesn't just build defenses, he engineers these absolute marvels of survival. The Allies deployed their Whitworth cannons. Now, these things could accurately bombard Paraguayan positions from over 7,000 yards away. That's miles. This forced López to innovate not in offense, but in pure, unadulterated defense, building structures designed to withstand the very best artillery of the era. I mean, just look at these specifications. After a piece of a shell landed on the roof of his house, López commissioned this personal fortress. It was made from massive beams of incredibly dense hardwood, protected by 18-foot-thick walls of earth, and then topped with another 9 feet of packed dirt. He would literally eat, sleep, and command from inside this bunker while shells just rained down outside. So after all of this incredible innovation, from the secret telegraphs and the mobile cannons to the jungle roads and these super bunkers, who actually came out on top? And here it is. This is the crucial takeaway from this whole period of the war. The superior Allied technology did not guarantee an easy victory. The Paraguayans proved time and time again that clever tactics, brilliant engineering, and a deep understanding of the terrain could effectively counter a technologically superior foe. They prolonged the conflict through sheer ingenuity. And all of this leaves us with a final thought to consider. This duel of innovations from over 150 years ago poses a question that's really timeless. It makes you wonder, perhaps the true measure of strength in any conflict isn't just the power you possess, but how creatively you use what you've got.